Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and move into how to properly set up your email campaigns. By now, all of you probably have already begun the process of importing leads. So now that you have leads in your Stifort responder, it's important now that we go ahead and create a campaign so that we can actually begin sending information, sending an actual campaign to those leads. So the first thing I want to have you do is go ahead and select the tab Add. Now, after selecting Add, of course, it's going to bring you to this page here, your mail campaign details. First thing that is extremely important is we want to go ahead and leave the status inactive until we're actually going to begin the actual campaign. And so go ahead and leave it in the inactive status for now. Next up, the label. Label is very important because as you begin creating more and more campaigns, this is going to simplify being able to identify which campaign is which. And so, for instance, if you're mailing to a list of brand new MLMers or home business seekers, then you want to go ahead and type that information here. So I'm going to go ahead and type in home biz seekers, and I'll put number 1. And maybe a description here, I can go ahead and type in more information pertaining to maybe what this campaign is created or designed to do. All right, so I'm going to type in like icebreaker into my main MLM biz with personal touch. And so the nice thing about the description is, again, it's for you to be able to identify with that particular email campaign. And it's very important because as you begin to create more campaigns, you'll be going through the hassle of having to go through each campaign, trying to remember what each particular individual email actually meant. And so by having some of the descriptions written in, it's going to make that process much easier for you. Now, upon finishing, very important, and here's why. Depending on how you personally write your campaign, what this is basically asking you is once, let's say you've created 10 messages. Once that 10th message has completed itself, would you want that particular prospect to begin receiving emails starting again from number 1? So the question is, if you're writing a campaign that, for instance, maybe the first email says, "Thank you so much for landing on my website," then let's think about that. If we fast forward 30 days later, and now you've shared all this great information with your prospect, they've received the 10th email, and then all of a sudden, the next day it says, "Thank you for stopping by my website," they're going to say, well, wait a minute. This looks pretty redundant. This looks like the same thing I've already received before. So my thing to all of you is, when you're writing these campaigns, perhaps if you choose the restart, then you want to make sure that it's going to be disguised in how you actually write the article, okay? And those are things that you'll be able to pick up on our trainings as well. So if you're going to write a basic email campaign, then I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and click the stop button, and then that means after that series of emails are complete, then your prospect will no longer receive emails, okay? Very important. Now, next up is an amazing feature that we have here with our campaign system here. This is the auto import. But ladies and gentlemen, I will tell all of you and highly recommend you to go ahead and select yes, because here's a nice thing about this is as you begin to set up campaigns, the nice thing about it is when you import a brand new leads list from, let's just say, and most likely, many of us were purchasing our leads list from the same lead provider. As long as you're importing it from the same lead provider, it's going to be titled the same. So, to give you all an idea here, gotleadslist.com, that's a provider that I use. So, when I go in and I insert a brand new gotleads.com system, the beautiful thing is, by me selecting the auto import, it's going to go into my contact list, automatically import those particular leads into this active campaign that I have for Got Leads. So if I have, let's say, 5 active running campaigns with my gotleads.com, it's going to automatically go in, snatch up those brand new leads from that list, because it's going to identify that those are leads that have not yet been contacted. It's going to pull them into my campaign and send them not only to that one that I've selected, but remember, if I have 5 campaigns running through the gotleads.com, it's going to actually select all 5 campaigns, which eliminates me from having to go through and individually resetting all that, ladies and gentlemen. It's done automatically for you. That's why I highly recommend you to go ahead and select yes for your auto import section. You'll fall in love with this, I'm telling you. And again, if for some reason, let's say I find another special out there and My Opportunity Plus, maybe that's another batch of leads that I'm purchasing, and let's say I go ahead and I import those leads into my Stifort Responder, the exact same thing will happen with the Got Leads as well. The My Opportunity Plus will also now be included into that particular mailer. I don't have to do anything. It will grab which ones I actually have not yet sent for information to. It will insert them into the equation and then start sending them emails as well. So again, how did I do that? By selecting yes right here where it says auto import. Again, a phenomenal tool that you want to take advantage of. It's going to really make things so much easier for you. Now, one thing I also want to remind you is when you go out, and let's say you import a new leads list, you'll now notice in the imported contacts list names, it will then show. So if it was MLM Today leads, you will then see a section down here that says MLM lead, today's leads as well, and then that will be in that drop down menu for you to select from as well. So every time you import a new leads list, it will show in this section for you as well. So in moving on, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to go ahead and do again is we're going to go ahead and save everything the way that I have it imported in right now. We'll leave it inactive. This is the label I've selected, the description. We've gone ahead and we've chosen to stop it after the last created message. We're going to select the import contact list of Got Leads. And then the next thing you want to do is go ahead, you want to save that information. So now it's actually the time to begin setting up our new messages for our actual campaign. Remember, it has to stay in the inactive status because you will not be able to create any messages if you change it to active. So again, make sure it stays inactive. So the next thing you want to do right here at the top where it says message list, we're going to go ahead and create our first message. So after you select message list, go ahead then and select add. Now, first up where it says ID type, probably 99% of you will leave it at standard. The only reason that you would ever want to change it to opt-in is basically going to be a certain page that is created, and this is more for the advanced marketers out there. But if you want all of your prospects to actually have to opt in through that particular page, then you would do that. And so I will tell you again, let's keep this very simple. Leave it at the standard, okay? Now the order number, what we did here, the programmers created the order number at 10, 20, 30, and so forth, and did that just in case there's mistakes that are made. You don't have to go in and renumber all of your different pages. And so the nice thing about it is you'll be able to go right in, for instance, going in 21, 22. It just makes it so much easier for you, okay? Nothing that you have to really overly concern yourself with, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that. Of course, since this is our first message, as far as delay, hours after the previous message was sent, right now it's set on 24 hours afterwards. So then, of course, your next one will kick in and out 24 hours later, meaning a day later, okay? And, of course, we can always adjust that if we want. We can change it to 12 hours later. We can change it to 4 hours later. Maybe you have a couple of emails that hit someone's account the very first day. You can do it that way as well. Now, from name, ladies and gentlemen, right here where your profile is, this is actually going to pull the information. So when your emails are being sent out, remember, where it says my first name, it's going to reflect what your first name is. Whatever's written in that profile is actually what's going to be shown in the first name section. Whatever's written in that profile as your last name is going to show there. So if your first name is Tony, then when someone receives the information, it'll say Tony, and then the last name, if your last name is Johnson, it'll say Johnson. And so these are the actual tags, which the tags, if you see here, the tab for the tags is right there. Same thing. The actual email that is listed in your profile will be the email that's going to show right here where it says reply to. Very important. Now, if you ever want to change your tags, you just select where it says view tags. And then, of course, you'll see the available tags that you can select from. And let's say if you wanted to add your phone number, I can simply highlight it there, copy it, and then, of course, I can put it maybe in here as well. Just paste it in there, and let me space in between there. And now I've got my email and my phone number showing there as well. So you can be very creative with your tags. Again, that's found right here where it says View Tags. So, of course, next up, how do you want your subject to actually read on that email? So for me, I want to do something a little bit different. So mine says, so what are you waiting for? If you notice, I also went to my actual template. Instead of having just a generic template, I decided to select the Stifort template. And as I scroll down, let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see. There you go. So you can see that my Stifort template is ready to go, so I can actually begin the process of filling in the information. Now, on this Stifort template, if you notice here where it says current date, because it's tagged with the brackets, I don't have to type it in. The system will do it for me. Dear first name, because the first name is also a tag, again, I don't have to type that information in. The system will automatically pull the first name of that person on that list and import that person's information. So if it's Jennifer, it'll say, Dear Jennifer. That's what she'll read. Now, the actual message, the body yourself, you will have to actually type that in. I'll show you that in a second. But again, sent by my first name, which is me, it'll have my first name again, whichever's in my profile. So if it's Tony Johnson, it'll say Tony Johnson. It'll have my email, and it will have my phone number. And so the only thing that you have to do is actually type in the actual message right here. So for instance, I may say, Dear Tony, are you truly ready to take any online biz to the next level? And so, of course, I'm just giving you all an idea. I can type out, if I want to type 3 sentences, 4, 5, 6, it's up to me. I can type as many as I want right here in this section here. And then, of course, once I have completed typing everything that I want in that first particular email, I can just scroll down. Very important. Hit save. And of course, the system will then save that information for me. So after selecting the contact list, what I want to do now is go ahead and I want to import the contacts from the selected, let me go back here, details tab, which is the got leads. So I went back to contact list. I'm going to go ahead and import contacts. And there you go. There are my contacts there. I have 118 that I'm going to now send information to. And scroll all the way down so you can see them. And now that everything is properly set up, all I'm going to do now is go back to the details, hit active, and then at the very end here, make sure I do what? Save the information. Once I hit save, ladies and gentlemen, my campaign at that point is now active. So with that, you now have a clear explanation on how to get everything set up with your mail campaign section, the details here. And with that said, we'll see you on our next training video.